Got some familiar names coming in, strolling into this today's webinar, day 3 of our 3-day AI challenge. Hi, Nancy. Hope you're doing well today. Yes, Jerry, we will be giving out the replay for all 3 days. So you will be able to get the replay. If you missed any of the days, we will do a short recap. We're not going to spend a lot of time, but we will get into that. So you can say hello to everybody as you're filing in. Yes, hi Darius. And let everybody know where you're from. At Tardus, we have a huge community and they really love participating in all of our events like this. So this is fantastic. All right. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and jump in. We have quite a bit today to go over. So I want to make sure that we have enough time to do that. And I want to leave enough time for people to ask questions as well. Okay. Can everyone see my screen? Let me know in the chat, please. Awesome. Okay. All right. So today, day 3, we're going to go from compass to cash flow, right? We're going to go from your guide to actually getting some cash flow out of your investments. And this is the smarter, stress-free way to invest. So I'm super excited. This has been a long time coming. I've been working on all of these things for a while. I'll get more into that as we go. So welcome to day 3, everyone. So did everyone complete the investment decision process with real estate? If you did, just put a Y in the chat, please. If you did, just put a Y in the chat. Look at that. I'm proud of you guys. Did the homework. All right, that is awesome. That makes things easier. If you don't do the homework, it makes it harder. It's harder to follow along. So you are going to need it for the AI tool we're going to build today. And so what we're going to do is just, with some changes in instructions, the same tool can be used for other types of investments, right? So this is specific to real estate, criteria you would need for real estate. So if you are looking at income funds, if you are looking at, for Tardus clients, fast burning fuel type investments, the instructions would be different than what we're going to build today. But I want you to see how it works on the one that we build together. So we have to build the same type. And I wanted to do this for people who are not familiar with those types of investments, something that everybody knows what it is, which is real estate. Now, I also want to give that same disclaimer I gave the last day, which is I'm not an AI expert. I'm an expert in passive income investing and in finance. And I've learned how to use AI to invest, and I've learned how to use it to, manage my money, make things a lot faster. I mean, you wouldn't believe the number of ways that this can be used. I mean, literally, there are hundreds of ways. We're just really scratching the surface in this class. So I've even tried building some things for my business, which is different from investing, obviously. For like just to make my business more efficient, I've been able to build some things, but I tried a few things that were way too complex for me. In other words, try to build some custom GPTs, try to get the AI to help me build it, like help teach me how to build it. But it was too complex, too many parts, for me. So I actually had to hire people. And I've spent literally thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars learning how to use AI and helping me implement it in our business. Now we're not doing that, right? What I'm doing is I'm actually giving you a lot of this information for free. And this is and this is from a lot of the things that I've learned from the people that I've hired to train me on how to use AI, not only in my business, but I was able to learn how to use it to invest. So that's my disclaimer. Again, I'm not an AI expert, but I do know quite a bit about it simply because, like I said, I've hired people to help me learn how to do this. And I'm still hiring people to help me implement this in my business. Okay. So, for those of you who were here yesterday, did you find it helpful? Give me a Y in the chat if you did, if you found it helpful yesterday. We only got a few surveys back, so I want to get some feedback. Okay, good. We got a Y, we got a yes. Yes, yes. Okay. And everyone on this is a little bit different as far as skill level, right? I asked in the very beginning on day one what the skill level was. And most people are in the 2 to 3 out of 5 range, right? There were a few fives, a few people that, they're pretty really felt well versed in ChatGPT and in AI. And so their knowledge is a lot more. And so it may seem like we're going slower for them, but I'm going slower because the vast majority of you are not as familiar with AI. And so I want to make sure that we get you what you need. Okay. So, and today I'm going to go really slow and I'm going to stop after each section when we're actually building it so that you have the time to ask questions in between. Okay. So let's recap what we did. So you learned your risk tolerance and you understood why this is important and how not having it, not knowing your risk tolerance actually gets people into trouble. And in fact, I think this is one of the most dangerous things when it comes to investing to not know your risk tolerance. So now you know that. You also built a risk tolerance GPT. Now, why do you need that if you've already built one, if you've already got the results from it? Well, because it may change. Like I mentioned, when my husband and I first got married, I was the gambler, he was the investigator. We kind of switched places somewhere in the middle. We've been married for over 25 years, and now our risk tolerance is exactly the same. So that's kind of interesting. I'm curious to know from other people, the couple situation. But again, if you're very different or opposite from your spouse, and that's kind of, or your partner, which is normal, you're going to want to get some help in figuring out how to invest together if you put your money together, which most couples do. And I highly recommend that. We talked about the value of income over growth. We looked at your wristband and the decision process information you completed are going to help you build your investment criteria today. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. Now, before we do that, I want to answer two questions that in the chat that came up that we missed yesterday. And I thought maybe some other people had the same question, so I wanted to go ahead and answer those too. So the first one was, and this is a direct quote, will need to review class, didn't know how to keep up with class when trying to put risk assessment results into building my personal tool for today's class. Now, for those of you who don't know, first of all, we did send instructions out before the class so that you knew what to purchase, you knew all of that. So if you're not reading the emails, you're going to miss some things. And this is very technical, so you want to make sure that you read and that you know what we're doing. And then if you missed a day, I would recommend watching the replay and then going to the next day because it builds on it itself. Every single thing we do builds on the next thing. Um, so this question may have been a question from someone who missed day one, but I still want to help clarify. So the purpose of taking the risk assessment is to help you understand your risk band, your risk tolerance level. The purpose of building the risk assessment is to show you how to build a custom GPT. You don't put the results of the risk assessment into the risk assessment GPT, okay? You don't do that. The purpose of the GPT itself is to give you that result, and you got it the day before. I'm just teaching you how to build what you took, the same tool that you used. So the result is the output you get when you use the tool. So there was nothing for you to put into the risk assessment GPT beyond the PDF and instructions that I gave you. So the PDF was the knowledge and the instructions I gave you were the two things. Okay, so I hope that helps. Now this one's a little bit more in depth, so I wanted to answer this. So there's a privacy question. Someone said, I heard that ChatGPT keeps inquiries available to the public. I'm concerned about how it asks for our full name and birthday. Should I be concerned if it's keeping a history of all my inquiries? So, first of all, your full name and birthday is probably not private. It's probably, I mean, your social security number is, but a lot of people probably know your birthday, and I'm sure like almost everyone knows your full name. So I don't think that's really private information. But what it's doing is it's making sure that it knows who you are so it can tailor the information to you. But let me kind of get into this. All of the large language model AIs, like the ChatGPT, Gemini, Grok, Copilot, like there's a lot of them. They all use the information you give it to train its models. So remember I said that the information it gets is from the internet. Well, that's also information you're providing. So when you provide that information, say you're wanting a recipe or whatever on something, it or you want a meal plan done in a certain way, now it knows to offer that same thing to someone who's looking for something similar when they type that in. So that's what it means by training the models. Now, I think it's a good thing if you want to train it to your personal taste. And I'm going to give you a quick example. I have so many of these, by the way, but I created a family travel GPT that knows the types of resorts we like to stay at, my family, the types of Airbnbs that we like to stay at. It knows our flight preferences, what times we like to fly. Different things. It knows the airlines we like to fly, the foods and restaurants we dine at. I actually gave it examples and said, these are the restaurants our favorite restaurants. These are our favorite casual restaurants. These are our favorite fancy restaurants, things like that. The activities we like to do. So if you like to hike or if you like to, go to amusement parks or whatever it is, you can put that in. But we put all of the types of excursions we like to do so it can design a complete travel itinerary for us. If we say we're going to go to Aspen, or we're going to go to, we're going to go on a trip to Texas to see my family, or we're going to go to Florida, whatever. It will design a complete itinerary that's specific to our tastes because it's learning from me. So that's what I like. Right now, you have to know that the personal pro and plus accounts, so the free accounts and the pro and the plus accounts, they train the models by default unless you opt out. Okay, so so that's important. In my opinion, though, private conversation should not be in ChatGPT. Okay, so if you have something personal, private, whatever that you want to discuss, I wouldn't discuss it with any AI tool. Okay, this goes without saying, but I know people do this. I don't know why. So if you if you have some kind of thing that you are stressed about or worried about or whatever, go talk to your spouse, your pastor, your best friend, your therapist, but I would not use ChatGPT. Talk to your coach, whatever, but I would not talk to ChatGPT or any other of the AIs. So, and to explain what I think this person is referring to about publicly, giving your information, let me just kind of give you a real quick rundown on what happened. So there's a big public outcry when shared searches on ChatGPT were being indexed by Google and people could search them and find them. So if you were, sharing your chat results, like let's say, I don't know, you had some, like maybe it was a private health issue and you were chatting about it and then you shared it with someone in your family or someone else, those could have been indexed and shared, found online. And so that was earlier. So early in 2025, I don't know the exact dates. What happened was OpenAI, which is, the company that owns ChatGPT, had a shared links feature in ChatGPT that they started that. And by the way, that's how I shared the GPT that I shared with you yesterday. I used that shared, well, actually I didn't share a chat. I shared the actual link to create the result. But when you actually get an answer or response from ChatGPT and you share those, that's what they mean by the shared link. So they can share the conversations via a link. Okay. Before July 31st, OpenAI introduced a new checkbox during the share process where it says, make this chat discoverable or something like that. And then it had like some other text that said allows it to be shown in web searches. Now the people that ticked that box could have their shared chat indexed by search engines like Google or other ones. And then late in July of 2025, reports emerged that many shared ChatGPT conversations were showing up in Google search engines and they were finding thousands of them, right? And so later we found out it was like over 100,000 of them. So in July, I think July 31st, 2025, the OpenAI Chief Information Security Officer said that, yes, this was a short-lived experiment. We did do that. And they said, we're going to remove the discoverable checkbox feature. And people were complaining that, hey, we didn't see it, or I might have checked it by mistake, or whatever it was. I don't really know. Maybe they didn't understand what it meant, and so their private conversations were being exposed. So August 1st, multiple outlets reported that the option was removed from ChatGPT, and they confirmed that it was removed by August 2nd in 2025. And that was, basically they said, even though we took it out, and even though it's no longer there, and we removed those, it may still be on Google, may still be in the search engines because of caching or prior indexing. So it's going to take a while to remove it, but they've been working with the search engines to try to remove that. So all that to be said, like I said, private conversations shouldn't be in chat or any other one. Now, one more thing to say is that if you think that anything on the internet is private, I think you're very mistaken. I want you to think about times that you had your phone with you or maybe your laptop on and you're talking to someone about a topic and you didn't search for it, but the next thing you know, you're seeing ads or you're seeing, searches or different things like that related to what you were talking about. That's because they're listening, it's listening, and it is looking for whatever your preferences are and then trying to sell you that, right? Because the advertisers or the businesses are buying that, trying to get that information so that they can sell you stuff. So, there really isn't a whole lot of privacy. So even with, I mean, I think with our phones and our laptops and everything listening to us, and actually your TVs are doing it now. I mean, it's pretty much everywhere. It's very hard to keep things private, but again, if you do have private conversations they're saying they don't share it, but I just wouldn't do it. Okay. So let's just keep it like that. I just wouldn't do it. Okay. All right. So let's jump in. We talked about the homework. I know we said that several of you did it. I want you to pull out your decision process, your investment decision process, because what we're talking about are rental properties in this example. So you should have your list of things that you must have, things that would be nice to have, but you're flexible with, and the things that are like deal breakers, where you're like, you know what, if this happens, I don't want that property. Or if this property, if I have to manage it, it's a deal breaker. If it's in these locations, that's a deal breaker. If it's over $200,000, I can't do it. Whatever. Those are your deal breakers that, must not have. And hopefully you already have that list, because we're going to use that in this GPT. So now you know your risk band, and now you have your rental real estate decision process. Before I move on, quick question. How many of you who are on this call have a criteria sheet or already had one? If you're a Tardus client, you probably should have one. You should have had one before you even did this, but maybe not for real estate. Maybe you didn't do it for real estate. It's okay. If you've done a criteria sheet for any type of investment before, drop a one in the chat, please. This is going to be a guidance system for you. Okay. Okay. Awesome. 12. Okay, great. This is fantastic. That is great. Okay, so this is going to be a guidance system for you. Again, these are basically what I'm doing is making it so much easier than doing everything manually, and it's going to make your everything faster for you going forward. So this is your compass. So think of it as your compass for stress-free living. Now you know what you absolutely want, what you don't want, and we're going to use that information to build a real estate criteria architect together. So let's talk about what it prevents real quick. It's going to help you stay focused and avoid shiny object syndrome. We talk about this all the time at Tardus. Shiny object syndrome is deadly. It's one of those things where you get very excited because you hear about your crazy cousin Larry who has this great investment opportunity, or he's heard of something, or you get off track. I told you about this story about my mother who, I love her. She's incredible and she's super smart, but she got off track with her own goals by looking at what we were doing and decided to do what we were doing. So just because someone else is doing it, somebody that you know, does not mean it's right for you. You could totally lose money doing the exact same thing. So, just you want to stick to your wristband, stick to your criteria. All right. So let's build. We're going to build and we're going to get this on. Okay. So this, and by the way, this is what we're doing in the Tardus community. We're going to have some mastermind groups, not mastermind groups, group coaching that's going to help you with this as well, which is kind of like a mastermind because you're going to be doing some things hands-on. But we build frameworks for you to build your own wealth. So to help you understand more and organize your financial mindset, your data, your overall financial picture. And so let's jump into ChatGPT now. Remember, that's something um, that I said you needed for this. And I said you're not going to be able to do some of the things that we do if you don't have the paid version of ChatGPT. All right, so let me stop sharing for a second, and then let me pull up chat, and then we'll jump right in. And I'm going to go through this very, very slowly, okay? I'm going to stop after each section to make sure that everyone can follow. Okay, let me get the share again. There it is. Okay. All right. Hopefully you can see my chat. I don't know how to make this little bar smaller. Okay, so this is what ChatGPT should be looking like. And I'll go slowly so that you can actually do what I'm doing as I'm doing it. And I'll stop and as we go and see if you have any questions as we go. So like I showed you yesterday, this is what it would normally look like. I'm in ChatGPT 5. There's other versions you can do, but I'm just going to stick with this. This little circular thing, its logo, you're going to want to hover over that and open the sidebar like so. You'll see new chat, search chats, library, codex, Sora, and GPTs. Click on GPTs. And it's thinking. And then, well, you don't need any of these, but these are different GPTs that are out there. There's a lot of really cool stuff out there. You'll see my GPTs and create. Now if you click on my GPTs, you'll probably see a risk tolerance GPT because you created that yesterday. So when you go in there, that's where you'll find all of the GPTs that you've created, the custom ones. Today, we're going to create a new one. So instead of clicking on that, you're going to click on this plus sign that says create. So click on that. Okay. All right. Everybody's following me, not going too fast. The first thing you want to do is make sure you're in this configure area here, and we're going to name it. So the first thing we're going to do is name it. And I suggest, and so what I'm going to do is go through each area again, like I did yesterday, but I'm going to go slower and explain to you a little bit more about what you do in each section. So of course the name is what it does, like or what it's going to build. Make it obvious what this GPT is for. So we're going to say, put your name. So I would put Tanisha's real estate criteria architect. Okay. Simple, right? We just want to say what it's for. It's there to, build out your real estate criteria. And again, this is going to change over time. The more you get into investing, right? This is for beginners, the one that we're building. But once you get into it and once you are more advanced in investing in real estate, you're going to want to put different knowledge, different instructions. You're going to want to change things, or you're going to want to build a new one. The one that I showed you on day one that I use is a multifamily commercial real estate criteria. Actually, did I show you the criteria one? I don't think I did. I showed you the next one, which was the analyzer. And what it does is it helps me analyze real estate, right? Multifamily based on my criteria. So that's why you have to do this in order. You start with the risk tolerance, then you go to the criteria, and then you go to the analyzer, and then you go to the due diligence, and on and on and on. There's each one of these layers onto each other. At Tardus, we teach our clients this and they learn these things step by step. And now they're developing tools that will help them do this even faster. Okay, so the real estate criteria architect, the next thing is the description. So you want a one-liner that says who it helps and what it makes. So I would just type in, I turn your goals and risk profile into a clear real estate buy box. Okay, I'll type it out. I turn your goals and risk profile, risk band, into a clear real estate. I call it a buy box, but because that's your rules for buying real estate. So my buy box is going to be different than yours, very different. All right, my risk tolerance, everything, my knowledge, my education on real estate investing is very different from yours. So that's why every person's buy box will be different. So I turn your goals and risk profile into a clear real estate buy box. And this is important, a machine readable. Okay, and I'll explain what this is. Criteria, I call it a JSON for downstream GPTs. Okay, educational only. Okay, I don't want ChatGPT to give me advice. It's wrong. Remember, sometimes, and like I told you, I put a property in my I think my GPT, my commercial real estate one, it wasn't a criteria one, it was a deal analyzer. And it analyzed the deal and said that it cash flowed negative. And I was like, that's completely wrong. So I asked it for its rationale, and then I found what was wrong with it. So again, and then sometimes, we won't go into all that right now, but the bottom line is make sure that your description is clear so that you know when you go into it, oh, what is this for again? Because you will have several GPTs related to a particular type of investment. So I have several GPTs for my rental real estate. And some of it is like my criteria. I actually already knew what my criteria was, so I just built it in. But the criteria, then the analyzer or the buy box, and then the due diligence, and then uh, there's others that you would build so that you can make sure that you actually have a plan A, B, C, and D in case something goes wrong, right? You want to have already a plan in place. One of the biggest mistakes people make, I think, when they're investing is they think nothing will ever go wrong. And so they don't have a contingency plan if something does go wrong. And we teach our clients to have those contingency plans in place. And now you can pretty much automate that. Okay, so I'm going to stop here. Are you guys done with that? You have your name, your description. You're good to go? Can we move on? Let's see. Any questions?
We did have one. Someone asked,
Okay.
are GPTs we create only accessible to us, or can others find and use them too?
No, that's what I was sharing in my last answer to the question that I asked. The GPTs you create are private until you share them. So there's two things. What I was talking about was a shared chat conversation, not the actual GPT itself. So first of all, when you build this, they're always only accessible to you. You actually have to share it via a shared link, and I will show that to you at the end. So once we get through all of this, I can't show you now because this is not built yet. Once we're finished with this, I can show that to you. But I just need to remember to show that to you at the end. But yes, so no, they're not, they can't even find this. So once this isn't even, it's a draft right now, but once I create it, no one will be able to even find this unless I make the link public, like I did with the link I gave you yesterday, or or we make or you give them a link, like you invite them. So you invite someone else. So for example, at Tardus, if I want to give this GPT or share this GPT with Lindsay, I will share the link with her, and it's only by invitation. So she got the invitation for my link, so she is able to see this GPT and use it. What I was talking about earlier were the actual chats, the results you get from the GPTs and sharing those. So if you asking GPT, hey, I've got this health problem, da da da, da, and it gives you a result and you share that, those were the things that they were actually making public, not the GPTs themselves, but the results. They said they've taken that down now. The checkbox isn't there anymore. But again, like I said, that's the kind of thing. If you want to share results from a chat, there's a better way to do it than to share the actual chat. Okay, and I'll explain that too. Okay, we're
Someone else
gonna
asked,
yeah,
sorry,
go
one more
ahead.
question. What
Yes.
is dot JSON?
Oh, that's what I forgot to tell you. Okay. Okay, thank you. So the machine readable criteria.json is basically a code. So what this is going to do is it's going to provide you with a English version of your buy box, and then it will give you code for your buy box. That code you're going to copy and paste into your deal analyzer or your buy box. Okay, so this is not the buy box. It's actually creating clear criteria for that. And then what you want to do is the deal analyzer buy box, right? That's where you're going to put rentals in there. So you can actually have it, it can get you can get really fancy with this, or we can keep it really simple, but that's the next GPT after that, right? Where you would take this information, plug it in, and the code in the back that would be in the knowledge, and it will analyze properties based on your criteria. This is not going to analyze properties based on your criteria. It's creating the criteria that will go into that. Okay, so that's to make that, I hope that's clear. Okay, so that's what criteria.json, I call it JSON. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but that's what I call it. Okay, so what we're going to do next is we're going to skip the instructions because that's one of the longest parts of this. And I want to make sure we go through and you understand the instructions. And we're going to, and you're going to copy, you can copy and paste it, right? But I'm going to show it first, and then I'm going to copy it and paste it into the instructions, right? This is what I was telling you to do yesterday, just copy and paste. So you don't have to write everything down. Plus, this is recorded, so you're going to be able to watch it. I do think there's a limited time you can watch the replays for those who are not Tardus clients. I don't think it's a forever, but I do want to make sure that you have that ability to do this. So we'll go back to the instructions. We'll skip it for now. Let's go to conversation starters. Okay, the conversation starters. The goal is to give you a button or buttons to use so that the GPT can begin to collect the information. Okay, so the GPT goes through several steps. First thing it does is it collects the information. Then it has a decision framework, right? Takes that, drafts the buy box, does a feasibility check to see, is this what this person wants in real estate? Is it actually feasible? And then it finalizes and exports the information, gives it to you. So the first part of it, the conversation starters, helps it collect the information. So this is like in case you don't really know what to say to get it to give you your real estate criteria. So you might say something like, we're gonna put some conversation starters in here to help you. So let's see. Let's see. You can say, build my buy box criteria. Must, nice, must not, for example. This is one possible one. You can also say, set my goals and constraints, for example. Right? And these are just things that you're saying, and see the buttons show up over here. And so then instead of typing down here, instead of typing, help me develop my criteria, which you could put that in, and I'll do that here. You just can check one of these, just push one of these buttons and it will type it there for you just to start the conversation. Let's say you kind of know, and so setting my goals and constraints might be, what your criteria is, but you want a little bit more detail. Or let's just say you're saying, here's another one. Help me pick a strategy category. Help me pick a strategy category. So what this will also do, it will help you kind of decide what real estate strategy you should use. If you should use the, BRRR strategy, which if you don't know what that is, it's okay. There's something in here that will teach you what that is. Or maybe you want to do the duplex strategy where you buy a duplex, you live in one, you rent the other one out, and then you live in it for a year, sell it, and you do that again. Just keep doing it. I mean, not sell it, but you rent out both sides and then do that again. So those are just different real estate investing strategies. So it will help you pick, it can help you do that too. So let's see, yeah, help me pick a strategy category. Um, or help me make my criteria card. And you don't even need to do this, but I like to do it because if someone's new to a particular GPT, it helps them to just get started. So I would start with something like, help me make my criteria, help me build my buy box, or, things like that. Okay. Any questions about that so far?
We had a few questions that came in that were mostly just asking to repeat things, so I put it in chat so you don't have to go through
Oh, good.
the thing
Okay.
again. So I
Yeah.
think we're good to go.
And you guys remember, you're going to get the replay. So I don't want to hold up the whole thing, repeating if possible, but I am going to pause. So if you do have questions, you can ask. Okay, so let's move on to knowledge. Knowledge, this is where you upload files. And so I'm going to show you one of the things that you could put in here. Now, normally for mine, I would not actually have any knowledge in here, but the reason for that is I'm very familiar with real estate. I do have a lot of real estate investing experience and all of that, over 20, 25 years of real estate investing experience. So, and I've invested in a lot of different types of real estate. And this again is for beginners. If you wanted to use this, so for example, you're thinking, I do want to buy real estate in the future. I've never bought it before. I'm not really familiar with all the terms. Then what you'd want to do is you'd upload that into the terms sheet. So let me share that with you. Let me see. I think I have to stop sharing to open that window. So let's try that. I want to show you the term sheet, and that will be what you would upload. Is that it? Yeah, that's it. Okay, here we go. All right. Hopefully you guys could see this.
Yep.
So now these are some of the questions it will ask you. And so if you're like, I don't know what you mean by that, that's what this is going to help with. So you can actually ask it, because this information is in it. When you actually add this document to the knowledge, it will have this information so you can ask the question. So if it asks you for your risk band and you're like, well, what's that? It's going to say how bold you want to be. Are you conservative, moderately aggressive, very aggressive, or extreme? And you already know this because we already took the risk assessment. So you know what your risk band is. So if it asks you that, just tell it, I'm moderately aggressive, whatever. Um, it's asking questions like, what's your target monthly cash flow? And that's the amount of money you want to keep each month after all costs. So again, when it asks you these questions, if you don't know what it means, you could give it the wrong information, the wrong answer, garbage in, garbage out. So that if you're unfamiliar with what these things mean, then ask it. If it says, what's your strategy category? Right? It will tell you the strategy based on your risk band, your cash flow, all the things that but this says, for example, the path you plan to use, like long-term rentals, short-term rentals, BRRR, duplex house hack, fix and flip, or tax-focused approach, right? And so if you ask it those questions about these strategies, it will give you a little bit more information. Money and financing. When it asks you for your capital available, it means the cash you can use for the project. Emergency reserves means savings you do not touch for investing. If you don't know what LTV is, it tells you what that is. The rate is the interest rate. The term is the years to pay back the loan. So financing assumptions is your best guess for the loan terms, for example. So it may ask you those questions. Um, Property basics, your must have, nice have, must not have. You should already have that. Location rules, cities or areas you're open to, or ones you absolutely are not open to. And then the simple deal fit signals, cap rates, cash on cash returns, DSCR, which is debt service coverage ratio. Again, if you're a Tardus client, you're learning all these things anyway. But if you're brand new to this and you don't know anything about real estate investing, this will help you learn a little bit. It's not going to dive deep. This is not like a full-on education about, how any of these strategies work, like we do at Tardus, but this will at least give you an idea of the direction that you need to go or you should go based on your risk band and your cash flow, and all the other criteria. Like if you only have $10,000 available capital, it's probably going to say some of your wristband is unrealistic because you don't have enough cash to get started. Or maybe you say you have 10,000, but that's your emergency reserves. It's probably going to tell you you're not quite ready to buy real estate, things like that. So that is what this term sheet is. So we will give that to you now. And you can actually just, what you would do is take this Word document. Oh, you know what? I think it's not going to, let me stop sharing because I need to get back into the GPT.
While you're
Um,
switching over, Tanisha,
yeah,
someone asked, would a knowledge document ever include directions for the GPT, or would it just be terminology or reference material for the instructions to reference?
it's reference material. Yeah, you would never put instructions for the GPT in the knowledge. Okay, the knowledge is for the background information it needs. Let me try to give you another example. I think, so the instructions tell it what to do, and the knowledge is what it uses to synthesize that information and give you a result. So that's what you want to make sure that you're doing in that. I don't know. Hopefully that answers your question. Does that answer? Hopefully.
I think so.
Okay. Okay, so this is where you would do that, where it says upload file. So you would click that, it's going to open up your laptop or your desktop, and it's going to, reveal the files that are on your computer. So if you have the document that Lindsay shared with you, you can go ahead and upload that into the knowledge right now. Okay, and I'll give you a second to do that, a few seconds. Okay, are you guys learning something here? Yeah, correct. So, yeah, it could be a PDF. It doesn't have to be a Word document. Okay, fantastic. Yay. Okay, great. Okay, good. All right. So I'm glad I'm going slow enough this time. So
One more
definitely,
question.
yes.
Sorry, that came through.
Yeah.
Mary's asking if they're supposed to change the PDF to reflect their target cash flows and goals.
No,
Yeah.
no, you don't need to change this document at all. What it's going to do is it's going to ask you those questions. It's going to ask you what your goals are, right? And it's going to ask you for information. It's going to say, it looks like this might be the best strategy for you if you don't have one picked out. Um, if you're super aggressive and all of that, like if you're extreme and you're like, I want high returns and all this stuff, it might recommend fix and flip if you have the resources for that. It's going to ask you questions about your resources and all this kind of stuff to try to figure out if that might be a good way for you. The challenge here is that you're gonna, you know, don't take what it's telling you as gospel. If you don't give it enough information, it's just going to guess. Remember, it's going to give you, it doesn't know how to come up with any original creative thought, and it's not able to go beyond the things that we're giving it. So you don't need to put anything personal in the knowledge. This is knowledge that will help you come up with your criteria. The result you get when you type in one of these things, like help me make my criteria, that's what you need, right? So this is going to help you build that. It's going to be much more detailed than the must have, a nice to have, must not have. It's going to be way more detailed than that. Okay. All right. So, all right. So let's keep going if we can. Okay. Can you guys see the GPT? I'm in GPT now, right? You can see it.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So now the recommended model, just leave that. You're going to skip that. You don't need to change the model. There's a lot, there's GPT 4.1 and, 3 and, all these ones that do different things. Just use just make it kind of easy. We don't need to do anything with that. Let's move on to capabilities. So let me explain to you what this is. Okay. What we want to do is uncheck this. Okay. Uncheck web search, uncheck Canvas, uncheck image creation. You might want to check code interpreter. Okay, so I'm going to explain what each of these does so that you know how to use them in the future. Web search means that it's going to go beyond the knowledge you put in and it's going to search the internet for additional information. We don't need that in this because this is not actually analyzing real estate. So if this were, for example, the next the next GPT in line, which is the deal analyzer, the buy box analyzer, if you were going to if you're going to be building that, you might want to have it search the web for real estate that you're looking for. Okay. And you can make this even better with the next thing, which we're going to skip as well, but by creating actions. And those are like APIs that connect to your GPT that will then scrape versus various sites and give you that information and put it in. So if you're looking for real estate in a particular on a particular website or with a particular seller, you can have it search through all of the real estate on that site, especially if it has performance and stuff, and tell you which ones will fit your criteria. So that's more complicated. That's definitely way more advanced. We're not doing that. And that's not even this particular GPT. This one here is specifically for helping you build that criteria in the first place. So you don't need it to generate images or do any of that. So that's what we're unchecking that. The code interpreter and data analysis, let me show you. So it says, allow this GPT to run code. When enabled, this GPT can analyze data, work with your uploaded files, which, maybe not everyone has the files uploaded, but some of you do, generate downloadable files, perform math, and more. Okay, so we wanted to do those things. So that's what we're going to do, code interpreter and data analysis. So that's what we're checking that box. Okay, any questions about any of that before we move on?
We're good.
Okay, we're good. Okay, that's great. All right. And then I always like to tell, for safety purposes, I always like to tell people, um, make sure that it's giving you educational information. It's not recommending anything. Like, I don't want you to ever think that don't take advice from ChatGPT. What this is just, this is basically to help you make decisions on your own with all the data. It's basically to give you more information to help you make informed decisions. Um, and so that is, I've just seen it make too many errors, and so it's important that you know that. So let's get into the instructions. This is the longest part. So I'm going to pull that up now, the instructions. Okay. And what I'm going to do before we share the instructions with you, because you're going to, let's see, here it is. Um, Wait, that's the term sheet. We just did that. Oh, why is it paused? Hmm. Okay, that's weird. It's telling me that you can't, my screen sharing's paused. Okay, let's try this again. Um, yeah, okay, so here it is. Hmm. Can you see this where it says you are a real estate architect, criteria architect? Can you see that?
Yep, we can see it.
Okay. All right. Okay, so this is the instructions. I'm going to go through each section of this first, and then what I want you to do when you get this document is to copy this and paste it into the instructions. Okay. It's very long. Now, so it says now tell me if this sounds familiar. You are a real estate criteria architect. Your job is to convert my decision process goals and risk profile into a clear buy box and machine readable criteria that downstream GPTs will use to triage and analyze deals. So the code that it creates will be embedded into the back of the next one, which again these are not for me, these are for you, and they're very tailored specific to you. So the next one that you build, that one will have this information for it. So the audience and tone. So the audience is mixed, keep it crisp and user-friendly. Tone is pragmatic and conservative. So again, what we want to do is tell it, like, what is your role? What is the action that I want you to take, right? The audience and tone is here. So the action is here. But now we're going to get into more details. So boundaries, educational only, do not endorse or reject specific investment securities or issuers, right? We don't want it to ever do that, right? We don't do that at Tardus. Our coaches don't do that. And we don't want our machines to do that either. It's kind of like, the warning label on your medication. You know what I'm saying? It's like just giving you that warning label. So collect, ask only once, then proceed. So it's going to collect information from you, monthly cash flow and timeline, capital available to invest, credit range, emergency reserves, weekly, monthly time allocation available for financial education on investment, preferred asset types and geographies, risk band, if known, which you know it, right? You know it because we just did it. Tolerance for rehab management, financing assumptions, any clear factors the user must have in rentals and must not have deal breakers. So the workflow. So this tells the GPT the workflow, the order of things, and what it should be doing. So 1, normalize goals, restate target metrics and constraints. 2, set the decision framework. It's going to classify the intended strategy. So long-term steady monthly income, high income from short-term rentals like Airbnb, duplex strategy, live in one, rent the other, tax savings to offset the income, fix and flip, BRRR, whatever. Draft the buy box with 3 lists, must have, nice to have, must not have. So the things you have to exclude, whatever. The feasibility check. So stress test the obvious constraints. If you're saying you want a property in this price range and you want a huge cash flow, but you don't have, it's not possible. It's going to tell you that. So it's going to offer 2 to 3 trade-off options if it's unrealistic. So sometimes people create these criteria that are just completely, you're not going to find anything like that. This will tell you. Okay, so finalize and export, output a human one pager plus the JSON contract, right? So that's the code that you're going to put into the next GPT. Output sections, your goals and constraints, strategy category, buy box, feasibility notes and trade-offs, and the criteria JSON code block. And so this is the code, right? That it's going to use this is how it's going to output the code. And then guardrails. So prioritize cash flow over hope-based appreciation. That's what we're all about. And document assumptions. Verify that money used is not from essential reserves and appropriate for the risk illiquidity of the strategy. And if the user lacks clarity on market choice, you can suggest a market shortlist if asked. And so it's looking at the role, the audience and tone, the boundaries, the collect the list, workflow, output section schema, and guardrails. Okay, so I went through this kind of quickly, just to help you understand the different parts of the instructions. But all you're going to do is literally, I'm going to do this right now. I'm going to actually, I think there's another way to do that, right? I'm going to select all. I'm going to copy. And then I'm going to go back into GPT and I'm going to paste it. And that's the same thing I want you to do. So if you have these instructions, I want you to copy it, right? I just select all, I copied it, and I'm going to go back to the GPT and I'm going to, can you see No, it's not letting me do it. I have to actually, because I have the different window. I'm going back into GPT and now I'm going to paste it right here in instructions. Okay, boom. So all of that is now pasted in. I'm going to give you guys a couple of minutes to do that. And while people, if you know, some of you probably already did it, so great. If not, um, you know, I'm waiting for you to do, while I'm waiting for you to do that, I want to see if I can answer any questions. Any questions people have about any of that so far?
Someone asked, where did you get the code that's used in this?
Good question. So I asked for the code for it. Um, that's a really good question. Yeah. Um, yeah. So, you know, and the thing is, so when you ask it for a criteria JSON code block, it'll give it to you. So if you say, you know, this is what I'm doing, blah, 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 and, you know, this is the, you know, you got to give it some of that instruction, some of that rat that we talked about and get more information. So what I did was I said, what is the JSON? And you don't need that for every single GPT, but the reason why I need it is for the next, just the next GPT, right? Not all of them have that. You notice that the last one we did not have that. I only needed it for this one to give it to the next, the next one. And actually, you may not even need it. You could probably just use the English version, the plain English version of the result you get and build that into the knowledge of the deal analyzer by box. But my the reason why I like to do it this way is because it seems to give me better results when I use the actual code than when I use English for the deal analyzer. So don't know why that is, but I seem to get better results that way. Okay. All right. And again, you know, for Tardus clients, you know, you're going to be going into a lot of this stuff more in depth when you go into, you know, into the courses and stuff in your membership portal. There'll be a lot more details and, you know, you'll be able to ask more questions as well in group coaching as well.
Tanisha, someone asked if it's important how they format the instructions. They said when they copy and pasted it, it kind of turned into all one paragraph. Does that matter, or do they need to reformat it?
No, no, it doesn't matter. Yeah, no, it should be fine. Yeah. It's pretty good about stuff like that.
Mhm. Someone
Okay.
wants to know
Yeah,
if
go
it's
ahead. I'm
available
sorry,
to
what,
members.
one more time? Sorry.
Someone wants to know if there's a Tanisha AI available for TARDIS members.
That's funny. You know, you guys, there's just so many tools. There's literally so many tools that will help you in your day-to-day financial journey. And I'm so excited to share all of that with you because you guys are gonna love this stuff. It's made my life so much easier, made it so that my kids can do some of this investing. You know, I mean, it's phenomenal. It's literally life-changing. It really is. So you guys will get trust me, you guys, this is just we're scratching the surface here. There's a lot more that you guys are gonna that you guys are getting. Um, okay, so the last thing I want to show you on here is we're going to, I think we did, oh, so there's two things. One is I think I mentioned to you here, create new action is not something we're going to do here. Those are really advanced custom GPTs that can actually, there's a lot of APIs that ChatGPT, or I don't even know if ChatGPT created it or other people create these APIs that can talk to other programs out there. And so there's a lot of really cool things you can do with that. This is cool. What I want you to do here is to add a little icon. And so if you click on this, the little plus here, what you want to do is create a picture, a profile picture. So I think what I want to do, I'm going to use Dolly because Dolly is it's the image creator that's built into ChatGPT. I'm going to use Dolly to do an image so that when I see it in my GPTs, I can easily visualize what it's for. So I'm going to say Dolly, and what I wanted to do is I wanted to do like a clipboard checklist with a house or something, you know, a house with a checklist or a clipboard or whatever, I don't know, and see what it comes up with. Actually, what it's doing is it's looking at the information I've put down and try to come up with an icon or something, but it will create an image. So go ahead and try it and see what yours comes up with. In the meantime, while it's doing that, do we have any other questions? Because we're going to start using this in just a few minutes. Okay, look at that. Okay, that doesn't look like a checkbox to me, but that's fine. And I guess the infinity sign, like infinite money or something. I don't know. But anyway, this is what mine looks like. Yours is probably going to look different, but that's pretty cool as well. So the last thing we want to do, and to be done with this, is we want to click this create button. Okay, it's in draft. You can see here it's in draft format. So you want to click the create and then you got it. And see, this is what I wanted to show you. And so this hopefully answers the questions for people who were, can people see my real estate criteria architect? No. Right now, the only person that can see this is me. So it's sharing with me. The only other people that will be able to see it are people I personally invite, because right now the access is invite only. And that was so if I go in here, I can add Lindsay, right? Because this is my workspace, right? This is the Tardus workspace. So I can add Lindsay, I could share it with her specifically. So she could use this chat as well, right? And let's see, right? Or I can remove her if I just want to use it myself. If I want to, I can share it with anyone at the Tardus team with a link. I can share it with the Tardus team. I can share it publicly. That would be anyone with the link, or I can make it available on the GPT store, right? Which I don't want to do that. So I'm just right now keeping it invite only. So if I want to invite other people for me from my workspace, I can do that, or I can share it if I make it public, anyone with the link can share it. That means if I send it to my friend, they can send it to their friends or whatever. So if you're okay with that, you can do that. But that's these are my options because we have the enterprise version. But yeah, so that hopefully that answers that question. I'm going to go ahead and update.
Someone said they
Yeah.
got an error message that says unable to save. Any ideas? Maybe just try again.
Yeah, I unable to save. I don't know what version they have too. That could be it. I don't know. So if one thing I can't recall actually, so let me just on this one, if I copy the link and I send it to somebody, actually I don't think they would be able to see it because it's invite only. So they'd have to be invited. Let me move to the View GPT. So once you're done with that, I want you to click on View GPT, and then you'll be in your Real Estate Criteria Architect. Okay. Let me know when you're there, guys. Yeah, yeah. You have to have the paid version, you guys. Now, like I said on day one, I'm gonna have to preach at you for a minute, okay? You guys, like spend the money on stuff, right? That's $20. But if you think about the amount of time this will save you, don't be cheap about stuff. It really is, you don't want to have that kind of mindset. People who are very successful financially will spend the money to get the education, to get the information, buy the tools. They will do what they need to do to get things done. It's kind of a little bit of you don't want to have that mindset, the poverty mindset of I can't spend the money on this. I want to use only free tools. Let me see what I can get for free, because you'll only be able to get so far in life when you do that. And like I said, I look at things differently. I say my time is money, right? My time is money. I will only spend time on things that I think are valuable and worth my time. I do not want to waste 3 hours in line at an amusement park. I will not wait for 4 hours in line at a Made in Hawaii event to get discounts on some items, some clothing or whatever it is. That's a waste of time. I don't even go grocery shopping. I use Instacart because I don't want to waste my time. My time is money. And so your time is money as well. And so I want you to value your time. If you spent the time in this, coming to this, then you should be spend the $20 to utilize these tools properly, please. Okay, I'm begging you. Like if the, if you can't do that, that's going to be, it's going to be rough. It's going to be hard to get things done in life. Okay. So, all right. So now that you've got it, right, you built this architect, you can do something like click on this button and it will type out, help me make my criteria, or, help me pick a strategy category. I want you to start using it. I want you to play around with it right now. Okay, so I'm going to do mine. And it's going to start asking me questions. Okay. So it says, perfect. Let's build your buy box together. To get it right, I need to gather your baseline inputs. And so it's going to ask me these questions, and then it's going to give me the output. The output is what I'm going to use to help me analyze all the rental properties that I want to take a look at. Okay. And there's a lot of strategies around that as well. All right. Pretty cool, right? Okay, so let's see. There's more there's more I need to share with you. I know we're running out of time here, so let me get back into this. Okay. So this is what we do, guys. This is what we do at Tardus. All right. So let's kind of go into what's next, what you built, all that. So do you guys like this? Was this kind of amazing? Did you love it? Are you guys into this? Give me a yes if you liked it. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay. Look, you built the risk assessment, right? You took the risk assessment, then you built one. Then you created a personal criteria framework. You built your compass, which is your criteria architect GPT. You can't analyze deals without that stuff. That's huge. And each of these tools build on themselves. First the risk, then the criteria, then the buy box enforcer, right? That is what ensures that you can put real estate deals into the buy box GPT and it will tell you if it fits your risk profile and criteria. It can even tell you automatically what's the maximum amount you should offer on a property, which gives you an unfair advantage over other real estate investors who really don't know and they're just really guessing at what they should do. And there's so many more tools that we can layer onto that. And, I'm excited to share those with you guys. So the goal is to get your income to cover your expenses, and then you're financially free, guys. That's like when you're able to retire, except you don't have to wait until you're 65 years old, right? Nobody at Tardis it wants to do that. So look at how long it takes to get to financial freedom when you use a 401k, right? It's massive. We're talking 40 years usually for most people when they're taking a 9 to 5 job. And look how much faster it is if you're a business owner, or even, people that are into the aggressive FIRE movement, right? Financial independence, retire early, but it requires you to save 50% of your income. You don't have to save 50% of your income to retire in 5 to 10 years with Tardis. If you save 50% of your income and you were a Tardis client, you would retire way earlier than 5 to 10 years. I don't know too many clients that are saving 50% of their income, but they're able to do it in an average of 5 to 10 years. Why? Okay, well, there's a lot of reasons why. Most people invest without a plan or a system, right? They hear about this particular investment. They say, oh, real estate's where it's at. I want to do that. Oh, this type of fund. Oh, crypto. They're kind of all over the place. They're investing without a system. It's like driving without a compass or a GPS. It's investing in your own financial education, right? Because people are always balancing risk and how much money they're willing to lock up in an investment. And so, I think it's uncomfortable that way when you have to lock up a lot of your own money in an investment. And, I know our clients know ways around that. So a lot of people hate that feeling. Like drop a one if you hate that feeling like I got to lock up all my money over here and hopefully this one investment works out, right? Drop a one in the chat if you agree with me on that. Exactly. We like low stress. We like safe. And if you could build passive income while keeping your savings safe, would that at least probably make you feel less anxious, right? At least we found that's true for most clients at Tardis. And so if you feel tension between, high risk and high returns, then you're probably like most of us. And if you didn't have to choose, if you could have both better than average returns and lower risk investments, that usually appeals to people. And I know that it appeals to Tardis clients. So there is a vehicle that gets you there. We have a system, it's the income snowball system that teaches you how to create cash flow and turn it into wealth. We have a smart leverage playbook that shows you how to safely accelerate wealth and growth. My patented income snowball calculator helps you map a freedom timeline. And the thing about that is we're into technology, obviously, right? So we're into technology with my patented calculator, which will show you the month and year of you that you can reach financial freedom, where your passive income covers all your living expenses, like we talked about. And that's 5 to 10 times faster than the average person. That's insane. And so if you take a look, this is an example, if you go to our YouTube channel, right, we literally have hundreds of testimonials from our clients, but if you go to our YouTube channel, you will see, I think 75 testimonials from just our YouTube channel alone. So if you want to see other people who are doing this or who have done this, there's lots and lots of things for you to look at there. Now, your freedom map. Remember, we talked about this. This is what gets you there faster. You need systems and you need tools. You need a step-by-step plan and a live coaching strategy, like what we did today. Wasn't it nice having somebody walk you through it? Well, that's what we have, guided implementation. You have a coach, a dedicated coach that works with you one-on-one and helps you reach your goals, right? Doesn't just give you the tools, but actually shows you the what and the why on how to do it, right? Giving you that expert guidance every step of the way, that guided implementation. And then if think about this, if all Tardus did was teach you to create 10 plus tools that made growing your wealth faster, more accurate and with less risk and saved you a ton of time and money, wouldn't that be amazing? If all it did was that, right? If all it did was that. But it does much, much more than that. We have weekly group coaching meetings. We have, 10 plus and growing ChatGPT wealth tools. We have extensive investment education library, guided implementation with your coach, annual members only event, wealth building community. We have so much more. Now, let's talk about how our membership access provides ongoing support, right? Because we have a lot of support. We offer a comprehensive package that ensures you have everything you need to stay on track. This includes weekly coaching sessions where you can get guidance by various coaches, but you have a one-on-one with your coach on a monthly basis. You have access to our AI tools. Videos like this you'll be able to have access to ongoing. And we have some other really cool things and some, that we're going to be introducing as well very soon. So these are here to support you every step of the way. And don't forget about the mastermind groups, right? Where you get together with people in your community and you're able to look at various systems and strategies and kind of pinpoint things that you want to do differently. We have exclusive events and exciting bonus content. Okay, that's crazy. So remember, you're not just joining a program, you're becoming part of a community that's committed to your success. And in fact, I mean, I know we have a lot of clients here, so wouldn't mind, really would love for some of the clients who are on. I mean, here's some examples. I don't know if any of these clients are actually on this call right now because of the time, but here are just some examples of what's possible from some of our clients. Kathy Cardula, within 3 years, she was mortgage-free, debt-free, job-free, and enormously grateful. Dan Hansen is a veteran. $85,000 in consumer debt was eliminated in 21 months. You're right. He said, my coach kept me on track. Michael Bertrand, registered nurse. He's now surpassing his financial goals. Chantel Reddy overcame stagnant savings to create more wealth faster. These are just a few examples. I know there are Tardus clients on this call. If you're a client who believes Tardus has changed your life, please drop a yes. Drop a yes in the chat so that people can see, right? Has Tardus changed your life? Yes. Yes. Now that's what I'm talking about. That's why I'm here. This is why I do what I do. I've been financially free for a long, long time. I was financially free before I started this business. It made it like easy. It was kind of a no-brainer. I was like, now I can help people, do what I do and there's no risk to me, right? If the business didn't work out, I would have been fine because we had enough passive income from our investments to cover all of our expenses. That's the life you want. You want the life where you can choose to work because you want to, but not because you have to. And that's what we're really all about. So if you're ready to find out more, your compass is set, your vehicle's waiting. I encourage you to book a strategy session. If you have your phone available, pick it up. There's a QR code on this. And also, I think we're going to drop the link in the chat as well. But go ahead and take a picture of that QR code and it's just it's pretty amazing. So, and then one thing for Tardus clients that are still on as well, there's going to be check the events calendar. We have some advanced for VIP clients. We have some advanced tax strategies events that are coming up that I definitely want you to check out. It's going to be. You think this is mind blowing? There's so much more. So we have really cool things coming out. I hope you guys really enjoyed this, and I want to open up for Q&A. So let's go. Any Q&A here? I'm here to answer questions for you. We're way over time.
Yeah, because I think
How
we
about
worked through most of them.
you
And
answered them? Okay, great, great. Sorry. I was like, ooh, I just looked at the time. I was like, but I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you loved it. And again, it will be available via replay. You will get the replay. I think for non-Tardus clients, there's a time limit. It will expire after a certain period of time, after a certain number of days. But for Tardus clients, of course, you have all this in your portal. So, all right. I hope you guys enjoyed yourself. Anything else before I wrap up, Lindsay?
I think that's it. Maybe just so everybody knows, we're going to send out the replay, but we'll also resend all 3 days plus all of the links that we shared, all of the instructions and PDFs and everything like that. So they'll all be in one place.
Fantastic. All right. Thank you for answering that. All right, you guys, thank you so much. This has been so much fun. I absolutely loved it. And I'm so happy you could join us. And again, don't forget, take a picture of that QR code so that you can book your strategy session. You're going to want that ASAP. The sooner you get started, the better. We look forward to seeing you. All right. And working with you. Take care. All right, guys.